What's up, y'all? It's Kenny with Beer Tech TV, back at it again with another video. This time we're going to be going over the Apple Keynote, or basically the iPhone Keynote that came out today. I want to talk about all their releases, my thoughts on it, some of my opinions. I don't want to be too biased, but let's go ahead and get into it and talk about it. Let's get started. I gotta say, I was very impressed with the intro of the keynote. It paid tribute to the late great Steve Jobs, who was a great innovator and genius in his own right. I know some folks have their own reservations about him in the tech world, but you can't take away his talent, can't take away his innovation of what he did for the technology industry in itself. Apple started out with their redesigning the retail stores around the country and around the world, actually, now that I think about it. They're doing a great job with the design of the stores, which is crazy. That's how they're attracting, consumers like myself into the store. Definitely eco-friendly, big on eco-friendly, earth-friendly, world-friendly. Now, the first thing they talked about was the Apple Watch. I'm still rocking the first generation Apple Watch, meaning not Series 1, not Series 2. I've had this Apple Watch since the original was announced back in 2015. It serves its purpose for me. I basically use it for the gym and the notifications portion of it, so that way I don't have to pick up my phone as much, which comes in handy. But to be honest, I think I'm going to upgrade my watch. The new Apple Watch Series 3, as you know, is going to be waterproof, just like the Series 2 model was last year that came out. It's going to finally have Now, the Apple Watch Series 3 has a feature that really kind of intrigued me, which is the LTE capability finally. Yes, Apple is at it again, being a little bit of a step behind the rest of the technology world, but they take their time and like to do things right. I understand that. With the LTE capability, you'll be able to add it to your cellular plan, so that way you can actually use the Apple Watch without the phone going forward. So that means, yes, you can get out the car, you can leave your phone in the gym locker if you need to, and you'll be finally able to stream your Apple Music to the phone with your paired Bluetooth, headphones, earphones, AirPods, whatever you like to use. Now, with the Series 3 model having LTE added to it, is going to also add a price increase to it. Just a slight one, I guess, from the Series 2 model that everybody was getting last year. With the LTE capability from the Apple Store, what they're saying is it looks like it's going to raise up to, for the 38mm band, it's going to come up to $399 with the LTE, and then for the 42mm, it's going to come up to $429, plus tax. Honestly, to justify it, having LTE added to the Apple Watch for the Series 3 model would be kind of needed, because that was everybody's biggest complaint with the Apple Watch, is that it didn't have a cellular connection to it, so you can add it to a plan and wear the watch without having to carry your phone with you. Because I actually know a couple people that actually have the watch that brought that to my attention as well, and I'm just like, well, maybe they don't know how to add the technology in there yet. Cool. I don't want to speak too much on specs to you guys, because I feel like that can go over a lot of people's head. I want to give y'all the honest consumer biased opinion about the Apple Watch and the prices about it. Good gosh, guys, don't judge me, but I really do need a haircut and a lineup. I'm supposed to see my barber this week. I'm looking a little scruffy and roughy. It's that time of year again, but don't judge me. Oh man. Anyway, moment that we've all been waiting for. Apple gets to the point in the keynote where they're talking about finally the iPhone 8. Honestly, the iPhone 8, in my honest opinion, is basically a 7S and a 7S Plus. I feel like the Android brands put a lot of pressure on Apple to change the badge name from a 7S and a 7 Plus to the 8 and the 8 Plus, because of the innovation that's been coming out within the past year, with the Galaxy lines coming out with the S8 and the S8 Plus, the bezel-less screens, LG and the G6, and now the V30. Apple has a lot of stiff competition this year, so I felt like the pressure was being put on them. That's why they changed the badge name of it. Now, the iPhone 8 and the 8 Plus honestly is only a slight upgrade from the 7 and the 7 Plus. The 7 and the 7 Plus have been a solid phone, especially I have the 7 Plus. I've had it for the past year now. I got it when it came out last year, and it's been a solid phone. The camera quality, portrait photography, the battery life, the speed of it. It's been a pretty solid phone for everyday use. The 8 and the 8 Plus, they only redesigned a couple things as far as the back being glass now, so they can do the wireless charging. So if you want to get a wireless charger and lay it on the pad, it'll charge now. According to the specs, it's not going to be fast charging, wireless charging like, you know, for the Samsung devices that's already been out. So it didn't really wow me. It didn't really wow me. So I mean, if you're in the market to upgrade and you don't want something too complicated for you, just go ahead and get the 8 or the 8 Plus. I mean, if you got it, just go ahead and get it. If you're due for an upgrade, just go ahead and get it. But I'm not knocking if your carrier still has the 7 or the 7 Plus on a good deal, you could get that too. They're still solid phones. It just didn't wow me enough. Like I was kind of let down, and I was kind of disappointed because I was just like, okay, this is not really a big thing. It doesn't, you know, the iPhone 8 and the 8 Plus don't have the optical image stabilization on the camera. What I mean by that, it helps with the shakiness of your hand when you're taking pictures and video. I mean, the screen is a little bit, you know, sharper, but it's not OLED, which means, you know, sharper picture, like 4K quality. And I was just like, okay, yeah, okay. So pre-orders for that as well with the Apple Watch Series 3 is going to be this Friday with the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus and the Apple Watch Series 3 launching next Friday. So those are the launch dates for that. Again, pre-orders for all three of those, the Watch Series 3, the 8 and the 8 Plus, that's this Friday. And then next Friday is the launch day for all three of those. Also, so for the storage sizes for the 8 and the 8 Plus, the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are starting out at, it looks like Apple, according to the Apple Store app and from what they said in the keynote, I think they're only going to do 64 gig and 256. That was also kind of another letdown for me because my 7 Plus is 128 gig and it looks like they did away with the mid-tier. The mid-tier, which is the 128, was a perfect size for me. Like, you know, Apple last year, they did 32, 128, 256. 32 was too small. 256 is too big. So 128 was perfect. Because I literally just filled up the 64 gig on my 6S Plus for the year before. So I literally just filled that up before I got my iPhone 7 Plus. So anybody who knows me knows that I'm a power user, and what I mean by power user, I'm pretty heavy on my phone, everyday use. I'm always on my phone, I'm always taking pictures, I have a lot of text, important text messages, I keep a lot of apps on my phone for convenience, things like that. So the fact that they took away the 128 gig kind of disappointed me too, because I feel like 256 is too much. So I was like, okay, cool. So Tim Cook says, you know, with the iPhone, this year being the 10th anniversary of the iPhone release since 2007, they said the one more thing tagline that they always do when they have something really special that they want to announce. Cool. They finally announced the iPhone 10. Not iPhone X. It's not iPhone X. 10, Roman numeral 10, people. Roman numeral 10. 10. So, with the iPhone 10, they finally gave me something that I've always wanted in an iPhone, a bezel-less iPhone. And what I mean by bezel-less, for the people who don't know, it's a screen that has no frame, barely any frame around it whatsoever. So yes, it's going to be very fragile, people. Fragile. If you're clumsy with the phone, you gotten your phone screen replaced within the last year, like at least 2, 3, 4, 5 times. This phone might not be for you guys. This phone is going to be very, I feel like, even though Apple says they upped the glass protection on it with stronger, tougher glass, I still feel like it's going to be very, 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 very fragile to drops. So keep that in mind if you're getting this phone. It's going to have the, you know, the Face ID, so they're doing away with the home button on the phone. The phone is fine. The phone screen itself is going to have a super retina display, which is basically an OLED display that's going to be able to do 4K quality, HDR quality, like I said. Sharper picture, crisper color, sharper quality. The retina camera on the front is going to be pretty much bar none. But for all my Game of Thrones folks, Apple tried to say that nobody's going to be able to use like a mask on their face, a mask of you to be able to get into the phone. But we all know, if you watch Game of Thrones, you know who Arya Stark is. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave that there. And a man has no name. That's all I'm going to say. Hashtag a man has no name. So moving on. With the iPhone 10, what kind of drew me to that is, you know, it's also going to have wireless charging. It's only going to come in 2 colors, which is black and the white color. I feel like this was a last ditch effort for Apple, because if it's a beautiful phone, beautiful display. The price tag is hefty. It's coming in at $999 just for the 64 gig, and it's going to be $1,149 for the 256. Those are the only storage sizes they're doing for that phone as well. So looks like, as you guys know, I know everybody's saying that, okay, the phone's expensive, but guys, carriers are doing financing and installments on these plans, and how long have they been doing this? For like at least a few years now. So yeah, over the course of time, you're going to be paying that price on the phone, but it's going to be over a 12-month or 24-month, you know, not contract, but a 24-month period or a 12-month period. Now, the phone looks beautiful. Don't get me wrong, it looks beautiful. Apple also announced the wireless charging pad they're coming out with called AirPower, which is going to be able to charge your Apple Watch Series 3, the iPhone 10, the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, but that's not going to be ready till next year. The iPhone 10 itself, though, is, I feel like, finally the answer to what a lot of loyal Apple fans have been asking for. Yeah, I know a lot of Android fans are going to say, oh, we've had that. Like I said, Apple likes to take their time to do stuff their way, what they think the right way is for them. And Apple is a personal preference for a lot of people. For me, I'm in the IT field. I don't want to have to come home after working and troubleshoot my own products. I don't want to have to do that. That's why Apple products are convenient for me. Call it lazy, call it what you want. I don't care. I like the ease of all my stuff talking to each other. Maybe my iPad Pro, my MacBook, my iPhone. I like how all my stuff talks to each other, and I can drop one thing and pick up another thing and pick up where I left off. That's why I like it. Now, the iPhone 10, my other discrepancy about Apple, what they did with the iPhone 10, it seems like the phone's not ready for shipments yet. The pre-order date is going to be October 27th. Basically, we're a month and a half out for that. I have a feeling this is probably going to be the worst pre-orders since the initial iPhones came out, and since the initial iPhone 6 and 6 Plus released a couple years ago. I already know, because everybody's already saying they like the phone. So this is going to be a pretty hard pre-order for everybody that wants that phone. The launch day of the iPhone 10 is going to be November 3rd, the following Friday after pre-order. So guys, just keep that in mind. If you want to get after this phone, pre-order is going to start 12 p.m. Pacific time. So keep that in mind. So whatever time zone you're going to be in, it's going to start at 12 p.m. Pacific time. So for me, since I'm on the East Coast, it's going to start at 3 a.m. And for the last few years, I've been getting up at 3 a.m. to pre-order my phones, because we all know how the Apple pre-orders go. If you ever sat through one, they can be pretty rough. I've been getting lucky the last couple years, getting the first shipment date as soon as I pre-order, but it's pretty rough. It's a rough process, I'm not going to lie. It's not easy. So guys, like I said, brief overview. We got the Apple Watch Series 3. Pre-order is going to be this Friday, coming out officially in stores next week. Then we got the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, same thing. Pre-orders this Friday. They're going to launch actually in stores next week. Then with the iPhone 10 is going to come out. Pre-order is going to be October 27th, and then we got the launch date of November 3rd. I didn't want to spit facts to you guys. I didn't want to spit a whole bunch of specs at you guys, because that goes over a lot of people's heads sometimes. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what phone you think you're getting. Let me know if you're going to get the Apple Watch or the Apple TV 4K. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment, drop a like, subscribe. And again, guys, my name is Kenny. Stay bearded.